Hi guys, and this is going to be a really simple upcycling tutorial. So I purchased this coat off of eBay, and I really love the buttons. Those buttons are just big and beautiful, and I wouldn't change a thing about the buttons. But the sleeves were a little bit too short, but luckily they are just cuffed and sewn just a little bit, so those are easily lengthened. And there's one other minor change that I'm gonna make on this coat. It's the inside collar, and it's just kind of loose, and I'm just gonna sew that down. Just because I hate messing with collars, and I hate having to readjust things like that. But the big fun change we're gonna make here is the ribbon. So I love the color of this coat. Looks regal and very, very nice, but it's a little bit bland. So I'm going to be using that ribbon just to jazz it up a little bit. And here's a little preview about what it's gonna look like. It's just gonna be a very, very simple change, but I think it just adds a little pop of excitement. Makes it look a little bit fancier than it really is, and very simple sewing. So minor changes, but I think the coat is just going to be upcycled in a new way. So let's get going. So the first thing that I'm going to do is sewing down that collar. You know, I don't see any reason why it needs to be loose, and sewing it down is just a really simple thing that can be done. Just so when I'm taking it on and off, I don't have to smooth it down. You know, I don't even have to think about whether it's laying right. So doing a few simple stitches is just gonna fix that issue, just so I don't even have to think about it. So what I'm doing is, with my needle, I'm just grabbing a thread or two and pulling it through. So I want to make sure that we're sewing down the fabric, but I want to make sure that the thread is not going to be seen on the other side. So I'm trying to just make an invisible kind of stitch here. And it does take a little bit of practice just to do this kind of stitch. Corduroy is an interesting fabric. Sometimes you think that you're grabbing a thread or two, and then you start your stitch, and all of a sudden it just breaks away. So it does take a little bit of practice for your hands and the needle really to get in the right rhythm, so you're grabbing just the right amount of thread. And the next step is just to get out your seam ripper, and we're just gonna undo the stitching that was making the sleeves just a little bit too short. And then just do a little bit of cleanup, just to get rid of those extra pieces of thread that you don't need. So they actually did stitching on 3 sections. And just be really sure that you're just cutting the thread. And this is the last one. All right, so now we get to start with the ribbon. So what I'm doing is just folding it down, and I'm placing it on the seam of the jacket. That just seems like a really good placement for starting the stitch. And I just folded it down so you don't have to worry about any kind of raw edges. And just use your pins just to pin it down. So after you've finished all the pinning, now we're ready really to start the stitching. And this ribbon is a little bit tough. And it's kind of in an awkward place really to do the stitching. So I'm trying to make the stitches be as invisible as possible. Okay, so for the actual sewing of the ribbon, I'm just using a very simple stitch. And I'm trying to do the stitch as close to the edge of the ribbon as possible, just so it's not quite so visible. Okay, and once you've finished with all the stitching, you're just gonna sew down the other end of the ribbon. So now that I've got all the ribbons sewn down into the jacket, I'm just going to do a few more stitches just to sew the two ends together. It's probably not necessary, you know, because I feel like we've got some pretty good stitches between the ribbon and the jacket, but this is gonna just make it a little prettier. Okay, so here is the bottom portion of the jacket. And I'm just going to wrap this ribbon around. So I'm wrapping it around to the inside of the jacket. This is so just in case, you know, the jacket may come open while I'm wearing it, and I want to make sure it's got enough ribbon so it looks like it's completely around the entire jacket. And I'm using these colorful clips not only to get the ribbon in place, but also as an easy way to measure it. So I've used clips on one side of the ribbon, but I couldn't use the clips on the other side. So on the other side, I'm just using some straight pins. And I'm going to use the same stitch that I used before. So this is the underside of the jacket, and I'm just continuing with the same kind of stitches I was using before. And here is the finished jacket. I really love this ribbon, and it's just a really great color match to the jacket. And I think having the ribbon on the sleeves and also the bottom just adds just the right amount of touch. And it's just a little more interesting than the jacket I originally purchased. Thank you everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.